What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Get Real Bass Fishing. It's I think it's blowing 45-mile-per-hour winds out there. It's 40 degrees out. It was snowing before. Got a nice cup of coffee and a kayak. So I'm not going out fishing today. Instead, we will take my Christmas tree of fishing lures and we're going to talk to you guys about my favorite cold water bass fishing lures.
3.5. His eye is taken out.
Alright, so in no specific order, let's talk about this one first. This is a RAPALA RIPPIN wrap, and it's a small lipless crankbait. I believe it's an 1/8 ounce lipless crankbait. Small tiny hooks, you do want to change those out, but I haven't had a problem with this one yet. But normally even the split rings, you want to change those split rings out. They're a little bit loose, they're cheap, they're stock, so that's how they sell them. Definitely change them out for a little bit bigger, because on that cold water bite, the bass aren't going to be as aggressive to a lipless crankbait. So you have to have a little bit bigger hook, that way when they actually do go after it, you have a better chance of hooking into that fish. So when it comes down to this bait, I like throwing this on a medium fast action 7-foot plus rod, only because it's so small. If you have a heavier rod, you're not going to be able to cast it as much or as far, and you won't be able to set that hook as well because you have such a heavy rod. You're going to basically rip that lure out of the fish's mouth. So let's just set up a standard for fishing line during the cold weather. I like to use KASTKING Super Power 10 to 15 pound braid. It's really thin, it's really strong, and I like using braid because the mono, whatever, can get chilly, get cold, get fragile, and then just snap. When it comes to cold water, I like braid. A lot of people will say use fluoro, mono. Go ahead, do it if you want, but I prefer braid. Just take that into consideration. When it comes down to everything I'm talking about, I will link everything in the description, like this, where to get it, how much it actually is. It'll all be in the link in the descriptions below. So this is how I'm going to fish the lipless crankbait. I'm going to cast it out. I'm either going to reel it really slow, that way you get that wobble that goes like this, as opposed to the quick wobble like that. Too quick's going to spook a fish, but reel it nice and slow so it has a small little wobble, and then give it a few jerks every now and then. You know, jerk, just change it up so it's not the same. Wait a little bit longer and then give it a jerk. That's how I would fish that. Or I would cast it out, depending on the bottom of the water, is reel it up a little, let it fall down, twitch it back up, basically yo-yo presentation. Reel up the slack, yo-yo it back up, and then just keep doing that until you get a fish. Basically figure out what your lake is presenting to you that specific day. The next bait would have to be a jerkbait. I love fishing jerkbaits. I've actually just caught my first fish on jerkbaits in the past week, but really I haven't been exploring cold water fishing in a while, really ever, until last year is when I actually started, and I started catching fish on lipless crankbaits in January. But when it comes down to a jerkbait, I like to use a pattern that basically matches the hatch inside of the lake. I don't want something too big to where it's going to spook the fish, but also I don't want something too small to where I can't cast it out. So basically what's been working for me is the silver with the black back and an orange belly. I'm not quite sure who makes this. I've had this for years. It looks to me to be like a Rapala, just the way it's designed. But with this, I'm also throwing 10 to 15 pound Super Power KASTKING braid. I swapped out the hooks for a 3. I really don't know what hooks they specifically are, but I did swap out the hooks. When it comes to the jerkbait, basically just cast it out. If you have a suspending jerkbait, that is better. It keeps your bait in the strike zone a whole lot longer. Basically just cast it out, jerk, jerk, jerk. If it's cold weather, jerk, wait a really long time, 5-6 seconds. You see the bass guys waiting 15-20. I don't know how they do it, I can't do it. But basically what I have found is cast it out, give it a jerk, wait 3, 4, 5 seconds, jerk, jerk, reel up the slack, jerk, jerk, reel up the slack, change up the presentation, 1 jerk, wait a little bit longer in between. Basically you want it to be in the strike zone as long as possible, and the fish to see and be like, oh crap, that's different, boom, that's when they're gonna hit. Again, I want to use the medium fast action 7-foot plus rod for the jerkbait. That way I can cast it out farther. It's a light presentation. It's really light. It has more drag in the air when you're casting it, so you want something that's going to be able to launch it farther and with much more force. A heavier rod, you're not going to be able to cast it, get that snap back, and you'll basically rip it out because it's cold water and they're not going to be as aggressive as in the summer, the spring, or the fall. Now, to change things up a little, I do like a look at this. It's a fat square bill crankbait. I love fat square bill crankbaits because they got that nice wobble that's basically it basically goes like that throughout the water. I love the floating ones too. I do have suspending crankbaits by RAPALA, but I love the fat ones because you can cast them out with a medium fast action 10-pound, 15-pound braid, and you bring them in oh so gently, and then you pause it every now and then, sort of like the jerkbait. You're reeling, jerk, jerk, you pause it. So with the floating, the fat ones, they go up, and then you give it another jerk and start reeling back in. That's basically when I catch all my fish on one of these fat-bodied square bill crankbaits. This is actually a LUNKERHUNT. I think it was like $240 something at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I've caught more fish on here than one of the more expensive Strike Kings, which are like what, $5-6 now. So you don't have to spend that much money, but definitely change out these hooks because I did straighten out some, so I had to rebend them. They do come with stock hooks. Most of them are just cheap stock hooks, so always change out your hook. A fat body square bill crankbait. I love red in the cold weather. It just works out really well. A few videos ago, actually, I think it was back in the spring, I was questioning as to why bass love red in cold weather, and my buddy Alex Rudd from Alex Rudd Fishing, he actually said that bass actually see in reds. So depending on if you're in rocky bottom or something along those lines, sand bottoms, pebble bottom, if you can fish a jig, fish a jig. This is not a very good wintertime jig. Basically, it's way too much presentation. Trim down your skirts if you have them, or get a finesse jig, a smaller jig. This is actually a swim jig, not a bottom jig like a football or anything along those lines. But a jig is good. I can't give you too much information on it. I don't fish jigs too much because I'm covered in weeds. Can't really get this presentation anywhere farther than sitting on the surface because of the weeds. A bigger or heavier weight would just bring in so much weeds I can't even fish this. When the weeds die out, you can use a finesse jig. That's basically just a smaller jig with a smaller skirt. And if you want to put on a little crawl presentation, do that. I would think you want a medium heavy fast. That way you can still set the beefy hooks on them, but I really can't tell you too much information on a jig. But if you want to know more about jigs, definitely just search them up. It's all over the internet. Jig fishing. Alright, so last but certainly not least, we have the lure that basically made me who I am. And that is the inline spinner. Now there's many different presentations to an inline spinner. You have the ones with the buck tails, no tails, and then basically this little Panther Martin style bait. Let's talk about this one and then I'll get into these. This is a MEPPS number 3, and this is a double blade. I don't really like using too much double blades, but in the winter and in the summer, double blades work really well. Just puts out more flash and more vibration. Bucktail white is really good. Raccoon color, that's a really good fall time and winter time inline spinner. But I like using this on a medium fast action rod, 10-15 pound braid as well. Just basically casting it out, reeling it in, because if you stop it, it's just gonna lose all the spin. And this is basically a cast out retrieve style bait. And if you want to guarantee catching at least one bass, go with the Panther, the Blue Fox Vibrax series Gold on Gold number 2 or number 3. The hooks are great. The stock hooks are great. You can't really change these out too well unless you snap off the hook. With that being said, the Gold on Gold number 2 or 3 Blue Fox Vibrax series catches fish all the time. Guarantee if you want to catch at least one fish. Medium fast action, 10-15 pound braid. This thing anywhere, cast out, either slow retrieve it or fast retrieve it, you're gonna catch a fish on this. I don't know why, but just know that those go for $6, okay? They used to be $2 to $3, and for some reason everything shot up to $6. That is also a cast out retrieve style inline spinner. You can go fast, you can go slow, it doesn't really matter, but I almost always catch a fish on that inline spinner. Back when I first started YouTube videos, I was the inline spinner guy because a lot of bass pros, a lot of people don't throw inline spinners for largemouth bass, and for the past 8 years I've been shooting videos catching bass on inline spinners. But this is the all-time go-to bait for cold water, whether it's fall, winter, or spring. You're almost always guaranteed to catch a fish there. If you guys like what you guys just saw, give this video a thumbs up. If you have something different than my top baits for cold water, definitely put it in the description below. Help the community out, help whoever watches this video, help me out, catch more fish, and I'll be able to shoot more. And if I catch fish on your technique, I'll tag you in the video. I'll put your comment under there. Also, we do have some Get Real Bass Fishing merch. It's on the website, getrealbassfishing.com, under the Real Shop tab. We don't have that much left in stock, so go get it while you can. I don't know the next time we're going to be ordering. But if we do go over orders, I will obviously be ordering more. But I want to thank you guys for all your support throughout the past couple years. We are still trying to get to 10,000 subscribers in the next month and a half, I guess. So that would just be crazy. 5,000 subscribers in the next month and a half. Anyway, we have Facebook pages, Instagram pages. Everything's going to be in the link in the description below. Facebook, we post every single day. Instagram, we post every single day. We go live. And if you guys want to hit me up, do so. I will definitely talk to you guys. Yeah, message me. It's fine. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. We're going to be doing some pretty cool things and some more travel in the year upcoming. With that being said, stay real. Smooch and release, have some fun on the water. See you guys next time. Peace.